All right, we're here for episode 18 of the Idiot Circle. I'm Mike.
I'm Fred.
I'm Rob.
And we have a very special guest down in the right-hand corner, Mr. Chris Meldrum, Algonac's finest.
Thank
How you doing,
sir.
Chris?
Real good. Thanks for having me here, guys. Like I said before, I've been watching you guys a little bit on these episodes here. I've had some time at school these last few weeks, and on my prep hour, just put it on in the background, and there's some good conversation going on. I see you have my good friend Jeff Hall on there. Jeff was a good buddy growing up, and loved his input with you guys as well.
Well, as you know, we're trying to pick up viewers and listeners from Algonac, so we're hitting it hard. We go Jeff, and then you. I mean, we had to bring in the big guns today.
That's right. You brought in Meldrum, and you got about half the city there when you're bringing in Meldrum.
Yeah, well, you got half of them are in St. Clair, Algonac, and you got us spattered all over Marine City a little bit.
Good, Fred. Half of them are in St. Clair, the other half in Marine City, and then the other half are in Algonac.
You got three halves to this family.
Sounds like Algonac math to me.
Right.
That's how big it is. There's three
He's
halves.
not a mathematical genius, Chris, but we love him.
Oh, that's okay. Hey, Rob, you're number one in my book.
He wouldn't be considered a mathlete, but he was an athlete. So
There you go.
Yes. So hey, Chris, I see that you're out now. You're playing some solo gigs on Wednesday nights at the Portical. Is that where it's at?
That's correct. Yeah, I've been doing that. Gosh, I think it's been close to 10 years now. And it's changed ownership a few times. So you never know, somebody's coming in new. Are they going to want, keep me around or what? And that happened again this year. They got a new person taking over a lease there. It's the same people that own Mr. B's out in Shelby, I believe. They'd take it over. And I worked for them a couple of times out there. And as soon as they called to book the band, they said, "Oh no, we want you every Wednesday." So cool.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't kick out the prodigal son from his regular gig. I mean, come on.
And it's been a good gig. We got a good following there. Plus, you get a lot of transient people coming in on the boats. It's like a campground area, on the weekend. So a lot of times people come in early in the weekends, or early during the week, and it's nice to play music for all my people that have followed me for years. But it's also nice to play music for some people that have never heard me before. Yeah. I enjoy that.
That's awesome.
It gives you a chance to promote your group too.
You just had like a affinity to music, a talent, or was it just about nailing bitches right off the bat?
No, it was being that I've been with
Don't lie to me, Chris.
Nope,
tell the truth.
I've been with my high school sweetheart since I was 16 years old, so it wasn't about that for sure. No, I've always had that love for music, and I think Fred, you even mentioned it in one of your other episodes about how there's Meldrum's, my cousin Jimmy in St. Clair, my cousin Pete plays the congas with him. I've got my brother that was in the band. I've got my dad, who was maybe the biggest influence and played in all these bars that I'm playing at now, and some that are still not even here, for years. So it just kind of was something in my blood. But it took me a little bit longer to get there because I was too involved with coaching and doing all that area. So the music didn't come to me till in my 30s.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, and the thing,
your stuff, Chris, is like you go listen to a lot of these bands local that cover the same songs over and over. Seem like you have a deeper reach into some of the songs that sometimes most music groups don't do. Talk a little bit about that.
I love you say that, and that is something we strive for, especially as myself as a solo artist. I like to do a wide variety of music, but we try to do those songs that maybe not other bands do. Nothing's worse to me than when someone comes up, "Can you play Mustang Sally?" It's like, oh God, I've heard Mustang Sally many times. I don't mind it. It's fun, but let's try to give you something else. So that's something we've strived to do. And again, Fred, I think I've heard you mention that before too in one of your episodes, is that we do some music that others don't do. Like we'll pull out, we play the Babies. I don't know another band that plays the Babies. We'll do Midnight Rendezvous, do the Head First. We'll do some Bare Naked Ladies, Brian Wilson and Old Apartment. I haven't really heard other bands do those. So just songs we like to do that, hey, people are like, oh, that's a good song, but I haven't heard anybody do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and you and Mike have a lot in common because Mike's family and your family kind of do a lot of the same thing. Every time they get together, everybody's got their guitars and it just becomes a sing along or a request for something. And I mean, Mike and I have done some music together a little bit, just messing around. And and I was in a couple bands, once in high school and one in college. And it's and it was one of those times where it was a lot of fun. But Mike and you have a lot in common where wherever you guys go, I don't care if it's camping or if it's a family reunion or it's a graduation party or something, there is going to be a Meldrum there with a guitar in hand and a microphone somewhere.
Yeah.
Just like like if you go to a ward graduation, there is going to be a band there playing, and it's not going to be someone they hired. It's going to be family.
That's awesome. And Mike, firsthand that, I mean, there's not a time we go to a party where I better bring the guitar. Put it that way.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe sometimes there might be a time or two where they don't come out, but very rarely does that happen. It's something we do. It's built in our family. My dad did it with all the cousins and uncles back in the day. We're continuing that tradition. You come to my cousin Jimmy's house or Pete's house. Yeah, we'll hang out for a couple hours and shoot the shit with everybody, but those guitars are probably coming out within an hour or two.
Absolutely. I have a 2-part question for you, Chris.
Two-part.
Yeah, it's a 2-part.
Watch out. Watch out.
It's not 3 halves. It's just two parts.
3 halves.
So
2-part question for you.
Yeah, I have a 2-part question.
Okay.
So what is your favorite song to play? And the second part is, what's your least favorite song to play?
Okay, that's a good question. The favorite, and I've, the one thing to me, it's nice when people come up to you and say, "Hey, you guys do a good job, or you're a good singer," and all that. There's times where we see people go out of their way to come up and say that to us. They don't have to, but they go out of their way. After a while, I was always, "Oh, thank you," but I think I start believing that after a while. And only in the last few years have I thought, maybe I am a good singer, maybe I am this, and maybe I am that. And I'm starting to feel a little more confident with everything. So there's some songs, I got to get up there for. Stranglehold is one of them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you heard Derek, was it Derek St.
Holmes?
Holmes. That's a hell of a singer.
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably my favorite song to sing. And I've heard people tell me it's my best song that I sing. So that is that one where I got to be ready for it. There's some notes I got to hit. And, but I make sure it's usually within the late second set. Third set.
So is that your favorite one then, is what you're saying? Or is that your
It's my favorite one to sing. Yeah. I'll
it is.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
The least favorite, I honestly don't know if I have a least favorite. I really don't. When someone's asked to play something like Mustang Sally, we really don't play it. We just tell people, no, we never sat down and learned it because I don't want to play it. So maybe that's my least, put it that way.
Okay.
So let me ask you this, Chris. So I heard you mention how you focus on the voice and, trying to be better. Think about our generation though, and the voices of our times. I mean, some of the groups that we listened to, they weren't necessarily the best singers. They had a unique voice, right? So AC/DC,
yes,
Guns N' Roses, Bob Seger. I mean, those aren't necessarily the best operatic voices of their generation,
right,
but they're unique in a way.
Yep. There's a few of those that Ray LaMontagne, he's just got a great soulful voice.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of come back into country. I've always had a little bit of country just because of my influences of my dad, older country, and a little bit of mine. So I throw that in there. There's a guy right now.
You're not talking Taylor Swift country, are
No, not Taylor Swift.
Oh God. I could have gone without this show mentioning Taylor Swift.
Oh God. Oh no.
Oof.
I like to have her money
got a
though.
Poster of her over his.
No shit.
You won't come to a Meldrum Brothers Band or a Chris Meldrum show and hear Taylor Swift, put it that way. Morgan Wallen right now is a big favorite of mine. I am totally into his music. He's a singer-songwriter. I've always loved singer-songwriters. Yeah. And he's just got a soulful voice, a unique voice. So it's kind of what you were saying, Rob, just something you haven't heard before. And I like that.
I like those unique voices,
Yeah.
right? I mean, they can't be duplicated. They could be good. They could be bad. I'm a big Violent Femme fan. Why? Yeah. Because, I mean, they don't sing right. I mean, it sounds weird. It's, geeky, but it just sounds good when they do it.
So let me ask you guys, do you have like a favorite singer? I mean, of all time, like a band? Like I'm real big with Tom Tom Monahan, not Tom Monahan. What the heck's his name? Pat Monahan from Train.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
Just a
You know,
great singer.
I left Marine City in 1987 and went to California. And at that time, living out there, the Cult was huge. And I was a big Ian Astbury fan in the way he performed and sung. Electric is probably still my favorite album of all
Yeah,
time.
that is one of mine
Is
too.
that right? Okay.
Song on that album is just unbelievable. I guess if there's some group like that, it would be that one.
Cool.
Yeah, I would have to say for me, you know, I mean, and the funny thing is it seems like every concert I go to, I run into Chris.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, either at the bar going into a concert, before the concert, or somewhere I run into a concert. At least 2 or 3 we've ran into each other.
That's true.
I would say very iconic voices like Rob Halford from Judas Priest,
Oh yeah.
Jeff Tate from Queensryche, and right now, obviously, my ultimate favorite band right now is Big Wreck with Ian Thornley.
Okay.
Phenomenal voice. You know, I love Chris Cornell. You know, I love those type of. I like Jeff Buckley.
Yes.
You know, and I like Dave Mustaine. You know, another guy that has a very unique voice.
Yeah.
And you know, like when I was in a band, I really liked playing. I like to do Judas Priest because I could actually get up as you know that high with that falsetto with, and then least favorite song. I mean, the song for me, and I canceled it out of my wedding. I said if you play this, you're not getting paid, and it was old time rock and roll by Bob Seger. You can play any other Bob Seger song you want, just don't play that one.
Yep.
You know, he brings up a good point though when he said he mentioned what's his name, the grunge singer there from
Chris Cornell.
But think about when Pearl Jam hit the scene. I mean, that's a voice that no one can replicate, right? I mean, that's just one of the. Have you ever heard anybody cover them really well on the road or anywhere? It's hard to do.
It is. That's a unique voice, like you say. Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite singer of all time is he's not very well known in the United States.
Slim Whitman?
No, his name's Jim Cuddy.
Barry
He's
Manilow?
one of the singers to Blue Rodeo. I don't know if you're familiar with that band, but
Blue Rodeo.
Yeah.
they're from Canada.
Yes.
They're like they have the Juno Awards, which is like our Grammys. So
Hmm.
as far as Blue Rodeo in Canada, they're like the Rolling Stones in Canada. They're that popular. They're like probably the #1 group in Canada. And Jim Cuddy is just he is phenomenal singer. He's a very classic. It's not a rock voice, it's not a country voice, it's somewhere in the middle, which is what I like old classic rock and classic country like Waylon Willie, Johnny Cash,
Waylon Jennings, sure.
Hank Williams. That's
Johnny
my
Cash.
kind of country.
There you go. That's mine too. That's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
You did Johnny Cash that night at Battle of the Bands, I think.
Yeah, I think they did Johnny.
I think they did. I think you did a Johnny Cash song.
We did Folsom Prison Blues.
Listen, Cocaine Blues and Folsom County Prison. I love both of them.
Yeah, they're good song.
Yeah, by the way, Mike, I love Try by Blue Rodeo.
Oh yeah,
it's a great
song. Chris,
fantastic.
Give us a story. I've always wanted to ask one of you guys, and Fred has lined up a bunch of groups coming up in the next couple of weeks. But I always wanted to ask someone like you who performs in front of people out on stage. Give us that, and you have to have it. That moment where you just fucked everything up, like you forgot the lyrics to the song, or something happened. You had a brain fart. There's got to be a moment like that where you just like looked at the rest of the guys and said, "What the fuck?"
I know he did it at the Plaza last year. He stopped the song. He goes, "Yep, we're gonna have to start over."
Really? Is that the one, or you got another one, Chris?
No, that would be embarrassing. It's only happened a couple of times. Maybe I'll start a song and then we'll get to that second verse. I'm like, shit, what the heck's the second verse, right? And so I might have to have the boys go one more time around to come back into that next verse till I get it. But that's something. When you were talking about stories, something popped in my head just before you even finished what you were saying. Yeah. I remember when I first started, our band was playing and we had, everyone's coming out. We're at Decker's down in Algonac, just a fun place to, let loose, right? Where there's a stage there, we're getting crazy one night. And, you know, I'm just really kind of getting into it, becoming a singer of the band. And one of our first gigs out there, and, you know, all these girls come in and they're dancing. And after a couple of songs, they're just woo. And I'm like, man, is this what rock and roll is going to be? Holy crap.
I knew I did this for a reason.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, of course, I had to come home and tell my wife that, but it was funny.
Yeah, as he's getting ready to sing "Babe," he's going, "I know it's you, boobs, boobs, boobs." Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
Yeah.
So when you hear Eddie Vedder sing like Yellow Ledbetter, you can't fucking stand a word he's saying.
No, but it just sounds great.
Is he like messing stuff up because he's forgetting words or what? I mean,
he's just that unique voice, you know. Some of the best people are like that, you know. They got that tone. It's not necessarily what they're saying; it's how they're saying it. And I think he's one of them. Sometimes I do the same. I'm like, what do you say there?
Chris, give us a little something. Give us something. Like work a little something.
Oh my gosh!
Come on, man. Something good, man. Hey, listen, we got 6-7 women, man. Let's do a panty dropper right now. Come on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. You know, like I said, I got 3 gigs this week, so I got to sing tomorrow, and I started our protocol thing tomorrow. I do that every Wednesday throughout the summer.
Yeah.
The new Cabana Blue. I don't know if you guys have heard that or seen that place.
Yes, I heard about it.
Fantastic place, just off the dike there in Algonac. They want us. We're doing a duo there any and every Thursday that we want. I'm not out of school yet. I got 2 more weeks of school, so getting up in the morning after a night of singing, it, you know, sometimes it's tough. And then we've got 2 gigs this week for the band, so the old voice can get tough, especially when I'm in the gym. Sometimes I got to project my voice as a gym teacher or in the classroom as a health teacher. I got to try to take care of myself a little bit. So
all right, how about a little request? Babe, I'm going to leave you by Led Zeppelin. Give us a little tease.
Yeah.
Hey, if you want to hear Chris sing, you need to go out to the shows.
In there.
That's right.
You need to go out to the shows.
I can't give them everything now. I got to say.
That's right.
Yeah. Hey, Rob. It's called Call Delta. Get an airline ticket, and he'll see you over the weekend.
Yeah.
Wait, well, you will make sure that we know Chris's schedule in July when you come up here, and we'll go and we'll storm the stage on.
We'll see him, yeah, for sure.
Please do.
Well, it's not hard. These guys play like 20 gigs a month, it seems like.
Yeah, you know, we've been called by some of our friends and family the hardest working band in St. Clair County. We might be, really, between myself solo and as duos and the band.
I would say that both you guys and Paul and Oates and Paul Shunk are like, I mean, you guys are either doing something solo. Now Paul's doing that Pretenders tribute band.
Yeah.
Plus he's doing his band with Steve Adams and the guitar player from Royal. I can't remember his name, but does a lot of the beach funky stuff.
Yeah.
And then he's got Paul and Oates. And then he does him and Kevin Ottenbacher do shows as well. I mean, you guys are like all over the place, and it's nice because they're, especially since the pandemic, and I'll tell you right now, I'm gonna give a shout out to Chris right now, and is he was doing live shows on the computer, like from Facebook, and he was taking requests, and he'd play for a couple hours. He'd have it all set up, and people were messaging him back and forth, and it was nice to be able to sit back and listen to some music when everything was dead silent, because there was nowhere to get it unless you wanted to listen to regular music.
Yeah, thank you, Fred. So how that started when the pandemic first hit, of course nobody was going out, everyone's locked down, and a couple of friends of mine said, we do this Facebook Live thing where we just we can talk to people and we get on and go, why don't you play a couple songs for us? We're going to be in Florida, and we'll tell a couple people and we'll go on and we'll watch it. And I thought, well, that could be cool. So I started getting into it a little bit, trying to figure it out. I did a couple of practice things through Facebook Live that you can do it where you can only see it. And I wanted to see, I thought I'd do it right here in front of the computer, and it didn't sound very good. So then I found, well, I can do it with my phone out there, and I can set up my sound system, and I'll play a few songs. Well, I started getting the word out about it going into that first show. Next thing I know, I start playing on that first night, and I look and I'm checking my iPad over every so often to make sure everything's working. Of course, there's a little bit of a delay, but I look at the bottom, and there's over 400 streams watching me the first show.
Yeah, we get that kind of activity too, Chris. I don't know if you know about that, but
Yeah. Well, our 72 is better than your 400. Yeah, right.
The quality 24 viewers, though. That's quality.
Yeah.
That's
what you got to have.
It's not about quantity; it's about quality.
Right. Well, and then as I couldn't believe it, so I played about 2.5 hours, and I got done, and then I watched the comments the next day. There's over 1,400 comments.
Wow.
And I'm just blown away. And then watching, there's people, friends of friends of friends of friends, some people in California and Texas, family down in Florida. I mean, everywhere people were watching. And then my brother reminded me, he goes, that's just 450 streams. He goes, we had 8 of us sitting around a fire watching you. So there might be more people on each of those streams. And I'm like, holy crap. So
that's the way we look at things. We think there's about 47, 50 people to every one of our views there.
Yeah, they're all in the convention hall, all watching.
Yeah, exactly.
The only stream that we got is one after we pee.
Chris, I think I was listening for a while there when I got a new truck. I had what's that thing you get free?
XM. Sirius XM.
And I was listening to a lot of Margaritaville. And I was listening to an interview with Jimmy Buffett. He did the same thing during the pandemic to get his band back together.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to get these guys working again.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people do that. A lot of big bands, Zach Brown did it, a few others. My 1 week of doing it turned into 8 weeks in a row. I've had that many people keep asking to do it again. And I did it for a while, and then kind of summer hit, and I was able to get back out there and start playing some shows. And then since then, I did one last Christmas, just to kind of say, here's some songs. If you're sitting around on a Tuesday night, I think it was the 23rd of December, and I had 200 some watching that night, stream. So it was pretty cool.
Most of the people who watch this, all 6, will know who you guys are. But if there's nobody watching or someone that's never heard you guys before, let's talk about the group, man. Give us a little, talk about the boys.
Okay.
What you got in that group?
Give you a little quick background if you don't mind, just the story with my dad. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the influence of my dad.
And, no kidding.
Yeah, he was the man. My dad's 86. He's still around. Kind of gave up the guitar a year or two ago. He'll pull it out every once in a while, but he sold off a lot of his stuff.
Yeah.
But he played every bar around. So I was always listening to him and getting that influence. My brother, Gary, I have 3 older brothers and an older sister. So I had influences from the 70s and my dad's classic country music. The 70s with my brothers, the 80s with my sister, my own influences in the 80s and 90s. So my music is so eclectic. And my brother Gary was playing in bands for 30 some years. Played with the Adam Allen band around the area, played with Straight Shooter, a lot of different bands around the area. And when it came time, I was starting to play solo. And I was getting hired at a few places. And my brother Gary said, hey, when I'm not playing with the band, I'll come sit in with you on congas. And we'll just call ourselves the Meldrum Brothers. Well, okay, so we start playing, and first night, we're only playing 5 minutes, and the guy walks into Decker's and says, hey, you guys sound good. How long you been playing? My brother goes, about 5 minutes. He goes, no, I mean, how long you been together? 5 minutes. So that took off from there. Then we started getting a few bigger gigs. So we thought, let's bring in TJ, our good friend TJ Fernandez, who's a bass player. He played with my cousin Jim for years in different bands, and he just happened to be available. We started playing, and Gary's playing congas, but we noticed we're playing bigger gigs where Gary's like, I'm going to go back and sit on the drums. So he left his other band and joined us, and we just call ourselves, instead of Meldrum Brothers, we added the word band to it and kept going with that for about a year or two. And we started pulling in Dickie Poole, who, if you know Dickie, he is one of the best
knows
guitarists.
Dickie.
Yeah. He is an unbelievable guitar player.
Yes, he is.
We started pulling him in for some gigs, but then it just got to where, hey, let's do this full time. And that's been 15 years with TJ. Dickie was with us for about 11 years. But my brother, after about 2 years, had to leave the band. He took a job in Ohio for almost a year. He would work his job, come back on the weekend, stay at mom and dad's, play the weekend gigs, go back home. It was just getting too hard.
Wow.
So
wow, that's some dedication right there.
and it was, and he loved it, and that's why he did it. But then it just got too tough, and so I'm thinking, who the heck are we gonna get? Maybe I'll just go back and play in solo. And TJ says, let me call up our buddy Eric. Eric's a drummer, Eric Galashis, we used to play back in the day. And sure enough, he happened to be open. He came and sat in with us one night, and I thought, oh, this is good. Well, needless to say, Eric's been with us for 11 years now, or something such.
Wow.
So been great. And then the only other thing is Dickie just a few months ago had to leave the band after 11 years. He's had some health issues. He just suffered a stroke a few weeks ago, and he's just come back. Yeah.
Geez.
And he left the band before the stroke happened. So he's getting himself right. But in the meantime, we had to find a lead guitarist, and we are so fortunate to stumble upon Steven Thiem. Steve's a guy originally out of Algonac, moved away for years, just brought his family back to Algonac. He played in a band called Funhouse, and excellent band. TJ went and I went and watched him one night, and we asked him, would you be interested? And he's like, oh yes, I'm interested. So again, long story short, he left his band and joined us. He's finishing the gigs he had with his band, and he's joined us full time, and we've been together for a couple months now.
So did your dad or your older brothers give you that Southern rock? You guys really hit that Southern rock.
That's my older brothers, and that's my favorite
brothers.
Music. Yeah, that's my favorite music is that.
Don't take this the wrong way. Like I told the guys, I said, listen, out of these groups coming up, I said, I feel like the Meldrum Brothers for St. Clair County, they're the Leonard Skinner of St. Clair County.
That's a compliment. I'll take it.
It is. It's a huge compliment. And then we got Eddie coming up in a couple weeks from Los Gringos. And I kind of refer to him as the David Lee Roth of St. Clair County because, like you guys have all your unique characteristics and mannerisms, but he's such a showman.
He's a very good showman.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. And that's something I had to learn over time. It was one thing to get up there and sing your songs and hopefully sing them well, but you had to be an entertainer too. And TJ's older brother, Dave Fernandez, who has passed away, he played in bands for years, and he kind of helped me to kind of bring that out of me. And I think that's one thing now. If you come see the Meldrum Brothers, you're going to see a show. You're going to see us jumping around on stage like a bunch of dummies, but we're having a riot. And it's all true. We are actually just having a riot.
The one other thing too about the uniqueness of your band and Paul and Oates and Los Gringos and Alter Ego, bands like that, is the musicianship of the guitars.
Yes.
And I'll tell you now that there's though if you were gonna look at a band or start a band and you'd have a tough time picking one of those guys to be the your lead guitarist. I mean, we already know Kevin Ottenbacher is probably the best guitar player in this area by far. But then you have to look at Jamie McDowell from Alter Ego, Bob from Los Gringos.
Yeah.
I mean, the man's a genius, a savant. He knows every song. He remembers every chord.
Yeah.
Plus, he can sing. I'm sure the guy you have in your band is going to be recognized real well. And then you have somebody like Paul Shunk that can play the bass, the guitar, and he's like all over the place.
Big time talent.
It's so awesome. And if you've ever seen, there was a documentary made a couple 2, 3, 4 years ago called Something in the Water. And it was about the 50s, 60s, 70s music scene in Port Huron. And they're the guys getting funding to continue from the 70s to the 80s and 90s and so on. I would be remiss if he does not call you, and Paul Shunk and Ottenbach and Eddie Stevens, all those guys to be on that second half of that, because that documentary, Chris, if you haven't seen it, I'll let you borrow it because you'll think it's phenomenal.
Okay.
But that's the beauty of this area. Not just the fact that we got this beautiful water that we see every single day, but we have people that are very strong musicians and have good followings around here and know how to put on a show.
I'm glad you guys recognize that, because we're so happy and proud to be mentioned with those types of bands. And we do. There are some major talented bands right here in Southeast Michigan. And you named everyone that I would too. And we love it when we play the shows where we get to see other bands, because we're out gigging. We can't see other bands a lot, right? They're playing the same nights we are, different locations. So we do things like the Battle of the Bands, or we do the St. Clair River Fest, coming up, where there's a band playing right after us or right before us. And that's awesome, where we get to see that. And we've hit it off with Eddie and the guys up there. I've known Paul for a while, great guy. Ottenbachers, the Gobies, they're all great guys. We hang out a lot together. That's what's cool, when we get a chance, and just shoot the shit. And that's what I think is it means a lot to me that I'm a little part of that.
Yeah, because there's one word that describes all of you guys, and that's humble.
Yeah, well,
there's nobody that is, big-headed, thinking they're like God's God's gift to music. But the fact of the matter is you guys are very humble, and you guys are very proud of when somebody comes up and says, "Hey, man, that was awesome."
Amen to that. Thank you.
Chris, it seems like there's some great venues for you guys to play around the thumb, especially St. Clair County. There could be more, though, right? There are a lot of places when I go around the river and restaurants and bars and think, man, why don't you guys bring more acts in where they don't do that? I wish they would more places would do that.
Yeah. And, pre-pandemic, you could go to any bar in Algonac and there'd be music. And I've always said that about Marine City. I never understood why Marine City wasn't real big on the music scene. I thought they were missing out on something. And then the St. Clair started started doing their thing. Now we have Gord's Bar. I'm sure you guys have talked about that a little bit. I've heard that. Already been invited to do that. We were trying to work out a kickoff date. I was going to play for him, or either myself or the band. Good friends with Corey. So hearing about that makes me happy. They're making it a music venue. That's what he wants at number one.
Gars is doing it.
That's cool.
Chris, Gars is doing it now.
I just heard
they got that back deck that I guess Paul Shunk's going to be the first one to play out there.
I saw that advertised.
So I think people are starting to wake up and smell the coffee and see what everybody else is reaping the benefits.
You got
it. Us idiots here, Chris, we have a favor to ask you.
Okay.
All right. So we eventually get a big party happening. We close down the Putty Gut Bridge like we used to do back in 1985. You're going to play it for us? You guys coming out and rocking the bridge?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a verbal. Committed.
Binding contract.
We have it on camera.
Hey, anything that sounds like a party, I'm there.
We also thought about doing it where we do the ultimate cruise through Marine City on the Idiot Circle, and then end in the night, and finding a big field and having a big jam out. But I know that Algonac could have that big jam out on Harson's Island.
Got it. At the turnaround.
Oh, at the turnaround. We learned about that.
Jeff mentioned that, didn't he?
Yeah,
Jeff
he did.
Told us about the turnaround. Yeah.
Oh, I might have been there one or two times in my past.
What is your craziest
you were a star athlete at Algonac. How dare you say that? You weren't. You were drinking milk and cookies with Hugh Jackson at his house.
That's right. And then once I graduated high school, I started going there. That was it.
He was going, I'm an element athlete.
Hungry, give me some cookies and milk.
He was ahead of his time because everybody's doing that now.
Hey,
yeah, we had our party spots too.
What's your craziest moment walking out of Snoopy's? What really the doghouse? What's the craziest shit that happened to you?
Well, that's funny you say that. I saw a guy he was walking to his car, and as he was walking, he was stumbling out at 1:30 in the morning. Yeah. And out of Snoop's, and there's the bait and tackle place right next to it, Minix. And the guy was talking, and he's just kind of stumbling. He's mumbling to someone, walking to his car, and he just kept going, fell right into the water, right into it.
Oh shit!
I was the first one to lend him a hand, get him up. He was just. But of course, I was laughing as I'm helping him.
Of course, you did it with one hand because you had a 9.9.
Yeah.
And
he stuck the landing.
Yeah, he stuck the landing.
The beauty of Snoopy's is you could be there at 1:30 in the afternoon or 1:30 in the morning, and someone's stumbling out of their truck.
That's true. That's they talk about dive bars. They're proud to be a dive bar. Everyone loves it. Great ownership there. I've even played there, believe it or not, a few times when I first started. Played at Snoop's and been invited to play a few other times. Just couldn't work it out. But good people there. Good fun.
Afraid to get MRSA.
They don't need window shades there. They got enough nicotine on those windows.
That's right, Mike. That's right. Yeah.
That place is crazy, man.
It is. It's crazy fun though.
I thought Gord's was bad, but
Yeah,
much
no
work.
kidding.
Hey, Chris, have you ever played the Winter Circle?
I have not. No, only been in there one or two times, I think, just to have a beer with some buddies. But no, I've
And
never
you know,
played
they
Winter
cleaned
Circle.
it up. It's not like the old Winter Circle.
That's what I hear. But no,
Yeah.
I haven't played there. You know, solo, I play AJ's. AJ's is another place that's kind of taken
yeah.
off as a good music venue. Paul
Yeah.
plays there quite a bit. He just did his thing was Pretenders, I think.
Yes, he
Yep.
did.
So I saw a video over there. But yeah, there's a lot of places up and down the river that, as you were saying, Rob, that could have music. I think a
Yeah.
lot of it had to do with the pandemic, but a lot of places are coming back. That Cabana Blues got it now. They're going to be doing music.
I mean, why
Deckers is
wouldn't
supposed to be
Anita's
opening
out
back
on
up.
that deck in the summer put bands out there?
You got it. They
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, Chris hit the nail on the head. For years, the only place to play in Marine City was the Regatta, which was the Marwood before. I
Right.
mean, they, you know, but I
And they're
think
not even in town.
yeah, it seems like there's a lot more places that are opening up for music in this area than there has been in years. I mean, I think there's more now than there was before the pandemic.
I think so too, just with the added bars and that, you know, look at Warwater, you know, they'll do music. Of course, now they got the St. Clair Outdoor Plaza thing. We're playing there this Friday night, by the way, as a band, and that is awesome. But they got music there, I think Tuesday or Wednesday through Sunday.
Yes, they do.
So it's there's
How
some
many
good
gigs do you
venues
think you're going to be playing there this summer, Chris?
We've got probably 8, and there's a couple of times where we're doing a daytime thing, and then we've got the nighttime thing too. We'll double up. We'll do a trio during the day, play with the whole band at night. So, but this week we've got Friday night. We're there for the first time this summer with a band.
Nice.
And then out at T's Rockin' Roadhouse on Saturday night out at their outdoor
Nice.
bar.
Are they
Nice.
doing another Battle of the Bands in Marine City this year?
They are.
Okay.
I can look at the date for you. The Battle Bands is August. I want to say 20th and 21st. I got my calendar here. 19th and 20th. We're going to be on the 20th. We'll be on Saturday night. We're going to go against Paul and Oates again.
All right.
And I believe the Gobies and the Gringos on Friday night.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's going to be
That's
good.
awesome. You know what's nice about that time too? The nights get a little cooler.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. That was an excellent thing they did last year, and they raised a lot of money for local sports programs. So they thought, let's do it again. So we booked that with Jeff Boehm. He's kind of in charge of doing a lot of that stuff in St. Clair and with this, and booked that right away. We were looking
Well,
to do that again.
Gorge should be reopened by then, I would imagine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I think they're opening here in a week or so.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they got something going on there, so that should be good.
They should capitalize off of that right away.
Yeah.
Right across the street.
Yep. Gorge,
Oh, yeah.
looking forward to playing there when I can. My dad used to play there a lot. My dad was best friends with Gordon Fosher,
Yeah.
and for years, and you know, my dad would play there quite a bit back in the day, so that I wouldn't mind doing that.
Hey, Chris, talk a little bit about your dad. I see it's you know, he was so influential in your life, and
Yeah,
you brought
I
him
have
up
to.
a couple times.
And I
Let's dig in a little bit.
Okay, so
let's-
mom and dad
let's hear
both.
about
Just,
it.
yeah, mom would always have, you know, W4 Country on in the morning. We'd listen to that. If you remember that station.
Oh
So
yeah.
mom's influence, just always having that in the background. But everywhere we went, there was music. Every party we went to, my dad, after playing nights at the bar, would bring some people back to the house. I'd be, you know, have some friends over for a sleepover at, you know, 10, 12 years old. And they'd be hooting and hollering, getting music going at 1 o'clock and 2 o'clock in the morning. So it was always around.
Yeah.
Family reunions was just a big jam session. We're going to have one again this year with the Meldrums, and we'll be setting up a whole stage, and it's going to be
Your golf outing.
Yeah, after the golf outing, correct. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But my dad is just, you know, my dad has one of those voices you hear and you know it's Mickey Meldrum, right? But
Yeah.
I think more than anything, my dad was an entertainer. He just knew how to make people have fun. And again, something that I'm striving to do. I'll get him up to sing a song or two with me every once in a while. Maybe when I'm playing up at Protocol. And the first time he grabs that mic and starts singing, he's got everybody just clapping along. I'm like, they weren't doing that 5 minutes ago.
He's got the touch.
He does. He still does. You know, he'll come up and sing his Folsom Prison or, you know, something like that. Waylon Jennings he'll do. And he's always had that thing of music. And it definitely instilled in me over time.
Yeah.
What's your most single favorite moment with him? whether
Oh
it's
God.
musically or not. I
Yeah,
mean, you
no.
got to have something that.
Well, fishing with my dad, everyone's got stories of playing catch with their dad in the front
Oh
yard.
yeah.
I don't have that story. But what I do is I've got stories of sitting around fishing with my dad almost every day, every night. I got stories of my dad sitting playing music with me. That's just as important as throwing a ball in the front yard, because most of the time we were out playing basketball. My dad would say, "Hey, give me a ball." And he'd take a shot and he'd have to leave to go play his gig after he got home from regular work. Right. So wasn't a lot of that sports stuff, but that was fine with me because we go fishing.
What did he do, Chris? What was his regular gig?
Dad was, after 39 years, retired from Detroit Edison. He started as a meter reader, worked up to his head of claims department. He was the head of claims. So when he retired, but he was playing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, almost every weekend there for a good stretch.
So he's walking around the streets of St. Clair County, reading meters, probably singing, humming tunes, and playing music in his head the whole time.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. Yep. That's something he's still loves, and he loves to come out and hear us when he can. Health has kind of been a little tough for him here lately, getting him out, but when he can, he has fun with it.
The one thing I will tell you, Chris, you and I have a lot in common. My mom was the minister of music at Holy Cross Church from the age of 11 until she passed away. And I mean, can you imagine an 11-year-old today waking up, walking across the street and going play a mass in Latin?
Wow.
And sing it and then come back, get dressed and go to school.
Right.
But being that, like you said, we'd always have her, she'd always be playing the piano. When she was done, she'd have Peter Frampton, she'd have Queen, she'd have Barry Manilow, she'd have Dionne Warwick. I mean, my dad, who was the farthest thing from being musically inclined in any way.
Yeah.
But he loved the Drifters. And when we were sorting my baseball or football cards, we had to listen to the Drifters while we did it. So, and there was always music going on. I was always in my room trying to be able to sing like, Paul Stanley and Paul Rogers and Jim Morrison, any of those guys. I would sit there and practice. And that's between what I got from my mom and what I learned that way is the reason why, I can actually, sing and have those moments like that.
Yeah. And knowing Fred,
like you did,
you've had that love for music. Cause I mean, Fred's always texting me, "Hey, you want to go see so-and-so, or, are you going to that concert? I'll see you there." And I know your love for music, just knowing you from back in the day and hanging out with you with sports and that, your music love has been there for a long time.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, did you play basketball with us that one summer in that one summer league up at SC4? It was Humphrey.
Oh yeah.
Remember the bench brawl game?
Oh no. Nope. I wasn't there for that one. I heard about that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you might've been there, but Chris and I played rec ball together. We played on the same team a couple times. And we played down at the CS, down at the stadium.
Yeah. Yes. Stadium.
Yep. Jeff told me it would be remiss if I don't mention that, but playing with the Bankies and and Ted Stagger and all those guys back in the, we're down there playing in the morning down there. And then, Mark Johnson and Cato and those guys would come over to the high school with John High Street and all them.
Yeah.
And we always played ball together, and we ended up playing on the same team a couple times. So, I mean, you and I we go way back doing a lot of stuff.
Sure do.
The one thing is, very, very similar paths, as far as, influences by the parents, the music, the sports and everything.
Yeah.
But let's stop about the music for a second, but what is your most memorable sports moment of your career when you played in high school or even in college?
Wow. So 3-sport athlete in high school. I had the opportunity to play with some very, very good people. Howie McCullum, I think you mentioned him once.
Oh, yeah, Howie.
Howie was a tremendous athlete, and throwing the ball to him in football. I graduated in 1990, so that our first year juniors, 88, 89, we had the first winning season in Algonac since 1972. So that was kind of good, for us, and that had a lot to do with Howie throwing the ball to him. We had a winning season again the next year. Basketball was my big love, of course. I played college basketball after that for a bit. Gosh, greatest moment. That is, you're going to hate this, guys, being Marine City guys, but winning the championship, the league championship in the last game of the year at Marine City. If we beat Marine City, we won it outright. And we went in and we beat Marine City at Marine City last game of the year to clinch the title outright. That was big. That would have been my junior year, so 89. That said, we beat them twice that year in the regular season. We met them in the finals of the districts, and they got the best of us in that game. Andy Shortkey, Greg Recor,
Eddie Parcell.
Yeah, Eddie Parcell. That was a great game, and they beat us in the district final, though. But yeah, maybe that is one I just remember, just a lot of joy after a game. And then I played tennis. We had great tennis teams. In Algonac, we went to states. We were in the Hall of Fame in Algonac for a team in '88. I was inducted myself a few years ago as a solo guy. So that meant a lot to me, just to know that maybe I was a pretty good athlete back in the day. A lot of help, though, from those guys, as I mentioned. A lot of other friends as well that were just great athletes. 2 years played at community college. Thought maybe I wanted to go play after. Thought I'd have the opportunity, but I ripped my ankle to shreds that second year. And then I just knew it was time to concentrate on school and let's get that degree. Give basketball, put it in the back seat for a while.
Well, that's good. I mean, I remember watching you play, and in high school, and then I was fortunate enough to play with you. So
yeah, we had some good rec games there, buddy, over the years. A
lot of high scoring
going back
games.
To your house and having a few pops. That was fun too.
Oh yeah.
Listen to music.
What area did you grow up in Algonac? In the Marsh area, or?
I was downtown Algonac there. So until I was a sophomore in high school, we were kind of by the Lions Pool area. Right in that area. And then we moved to the water across from the Lions Pool. There's a canal right there. And that's where I live with my parents. And they just sold the house a couple of years ago and ended up flooding a couple of times with that high water. Yeah. So I loved growing up where I did. I wouldn't change one thing. I loved every minute of it. I miss
You're
those
a river
days.
rat too.
Yes. Oh gosh, yeah.
We're all river rats.
Yeah. I love my fishing, love my sports. And I did want to mention, Fred, you talked about CS Stadium there. The Lions Field had a basketball court. You want to talk about a documentary that should happen? That is one of them right there. That court was legendary for the people that played on it, the games we had. We would play in the morning, 7:30 in the morning. John High Street would get a game. We'd have a game going. It'd be 5-on-5, 7:30 in the morning. Everybody go do their thing during the day in the summer, come back and play 6 o'clock at night, every night. I believe Saturday and Sunday were the only 2 nights we didn't do that. And that was for years. And that kind of helped shape me be the player I was back in the day. Just because it made you tough. There was a lot of hard fouls back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of game winners. You're not going to get a layup for a game winner at the Lions Field at CS Stadium.
Yeah. Especially if Wally Azar's there.
Yeah, you might get an elbow from Wally.
Or you might get a hair sandwich from Devaney or whatever. Yeah, Jesus. I'm like, yeah. Do I have to? Can I be the skin and he be the shirt? My God.
Yeah, there was some good sweaty guys back in the day too. After we were done, we'd all go to the dock and jump in the water and have a 40-ouncer and sit and talk about it. Nice. That's what I loved about it.
Man, with Algonac, with the music and the sports, it sounds legendary. I think they got us beat, man. Marine City's lame compared to Algonac.
We had Marine City guys coming down to play with us all the time too, and that's what was cool. They respected it that much, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Marine City is not a basketball city like it is a football city.
Well, back in my day, I would say basketball was better than football.
Well, back then we were
baseball was was good. I mean, football really started being good my junior year with Jerry Workentine, and then Carlson was there for a year, and then the Pope came in, Bob Siskevich.
Yeah.
Well, they were like Michigan, back in the day. Marine City back in the 60s was a powerhouse in football. And then from the 70s to early 80s, it was pretty bad. But
that's like Algonac in the 60s and 70s, late 50s, all through the mid 50s, I think, right till 72. Algonac won almost every year. My dad was part of it back in the day.
Oh yeah.
Truman Pipple, who the field's named after, was a great coach from Algonac back in the day. But I do have a good story about Algonac and Marine City. My junior year, Recor was quarterback of Marine City. We're at their place, and it's a shootout. I think we fourth quarter we went ahead with a touchdown, and they come back and scored. We're driving with just about less than a minute left. I threw a couple of passes, threw a deep pass to a buddy, and we scored a touchdown, and we're down 1. It's 28-27, and we have an all-state kicker who we just won 2 games, I believe, that year in overtime. And in overtime, you start at the 10-yard line, you got 4 downs to score, whatever, but you could just kick a field goal too. Well, we got an all-state kicker, so they called timeout. They come in the huddle, and everyone's trying to figure out if we're going to go for 2 or we're going to just kick the extra point. And I'm thinking we're just going to kick the extra point. We'll win the game in overtime, maybe. Well, coach wants to go for it. And I'm like, okay, let's do it. So he calls a pass to Howie McCullum. Howie's going to do a quick in. I'm going to look away, and I'm going to throw him the ball. I drop back. I look. Howie's open. I'm like, oh, boy. Go to throw it to him. And a big old lineman, I can't remember his name, big old heavy dude, just stood up and put his hand and hit his hand. We lost 28-27.
Oh, man. Oh.
And Howie was wide open, but it just hit it. He just happened to stand up and hit it right at the right time. I got that game on video, too, and every time I pull it up, I'm like, almost got him.
What could have been, huh?
Yep, that's right.
Look at that shirt he's wearing, Mike. I love
It's
it.
epic.
It's the Jack Daniels Meldrum shirt.
Yeah, we do a festival. We were doing a festival there almost every year, a music festival where friends and family would come and we just jam. And
Is that the Waterpalooza one?
Yeah, Meldrum Music Fest, we would call it. And kind of doing that this year along with a family reunion. But a lot of our friends are involved with it too, that are close friends over the years. It's a good time. But yeah, we've had shirts made, and my Pete's wife, my cousin Pete's wife, Tiffany, I think had these designed a couple years ago.
So there's probably a pig or 2 being roasted at these events, or
there's always food. Of course, there's big time food involved. We got some good cookers. A lot of usually walleye. We do a big walleye.
Okay.
Nice.
Fry. That's what we've been doing the last few years.
Not pickerel, because there aren't any in the St. Clair River, right?
That's right. Walleye.
You got that. You guys got that wrong. The pickerel tournament, but hey, whatever.
Yep.
Close enough.
You're right.
What's a fin between friends,
This year we're talking about having it catered though, because I think we're going to have a lot more people than we've had in the past. We had about 100 there last year, but now we're making a big old family reunion too. So we might just go ahead and try to have it catered, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you guys play up at
Where's
the
our
pickerel
invites,
tournament,
Chris?
or no?
We got invites to that?
The pickle tournament we do play. We have played. We do 2 nights back to back over the years. The first night and then usually fireworks night. This year, let's just say a little something happened where we're not doing it this year. I'll leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
Way to be very PC there, Chris.
Yeah. Just something happened, and so we're still playing in the area that weekend, just not at the pickle tournament.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's the anti-pickerel tournament party.
Sounds like a good one to me.
It's pickerel tournament adjacent.
Yeah.
The true pickerel tournament versus that one.
That's right.
Boy. Nice.
So Chris, give us some dates and stuff that you're playing in the near future, and some of the places that we might not know about that some of our listeners might want to say, hey, didn't know that they're playing music there,
Sure.
stuff like that.
First thing, we're on Facebook, Meldrum Brothers Band. If people on Facebook want to check it out. We do have a website, meldrummusic.com. That has our calendar page on it, and you can go on and see where we're playing, what time. That's what I try to refer to everybody. I'm always on Facebook, but that's usually just telling you what we're playing that week.
Right.
So this way, meldrummusic.com, you can get on there and take a look. Every Wednesday, again, I'll be playing at Protocol, 6 to 9, rain or shine. I'll play inside if it rains. We'll be playing at the Cabana Blue quite a bit throughout the summer, doing a duo there. St. Clair, you can catch us at the outdoor thing there. We're doing a lot of festivals this year, a lot of fairs. We'll be doing the Immaculate Conception there in Anchorville. We're doing the Bayarama fireworks night here in New Baltimore. That should be fun. That's in coming up towards the end of June. Just trying to think of some other stuff. Portical in Algonac as a band, we'll be playing there a handful of times throughout the year too. With the new ownership, we were late getting some dates just because I couldn't wait anymore to see who was going to get it.
Right.
We gave them dates we had available. Detroit Yacht Club, we do a couple times a year. That's always a fun one for us. Nice big light show they do for us there too. We got some good lighting.
Cool.
Yeah, so just a lot. Battle of the Bands will be August 20th for us. We'll be on that Saturday. We're always looking forward to that. That's, that's again where we get to see other people. And just so I made sure I didn't book myself the night before because I want to come see the Gobies and the Gringos. So I'm not playing on that Friday the night before because I want to come watch.
Oh,
Maybe
nice.
we can meet up and have a few pops and watch the bands.
That sounds awesome. I'll be
Hey,
there.
Mike, can you take his website and embed that into the
Yep.
So that
I
people
can handle that, Rob. I got the technology.
Well, I was thinking that
I know you
this
couldn't
week,
handle
I'm
it,
like,
but I can
you're
handle
supposed to be our IT guy, and we got shit for IT.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was TI, not IT.
Yeah.
See, I can't count, and I'm
You thought it was
dyslexic. What the hell's going on here?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Next
those
thing you know,
are
my
some of
name's
our-
Lucky.
Some of our bigger gigs, over the years, we were fortunate to do some really big gigs. Aquapalooza is something they've had for years. In St. Clair Shores area, we were fortunate enough to be the only band to do that for a few years. And then once they got bigger sponsors on, there was bands both days on Friday and Saturday. And we continued to do that. They built it up so much that it got too big and they had to cancel it because they were worried about people in the water.
Right.
Being able to make everybody safe. So that got canceled a few years ago. We opened for Lee Greenwood a few years ago. We had the opportunity on 9/11. He did 9/11 concert in Lansing and,
Wow.
get to watch him sing God Bless the USA. And we got to play for a half hour before him. That was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we've had some pretty good gigs over the years.
Chris, how many people do you think were in the stands that day?
There was a few thousand. The weather wasn't the greatest, but we had probably a couple thousand people there for sure.
Wow, that's cool.
It was neat. It was a great experience. We were treated like rock stars for a day. We had our own green room. They had food just for us, drinks we wanted. I mean, we were treated spectacular.
You get the same kind of treatment at the Battle of the Bands, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I expect a little more this year.
Just green M&Ms, or is it brown M&Ms?
No green M&Ms.
That's awesome. So what is the farthest you guys have had to go for a gig?
New Buffalo. We played a casino over there. Eric
The Blue Chip. Blue
Is it
Chip.
fire starters?
No, Blue Chip.
No, not fire starters. There's
Blue Chip. Blue Chip.
Blue Chip doesn't sound familiar to me.
In New Buffalo, the one
New
on the
Buffalo.
water, right on the
Buffalo.
water.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't remember the name of it, but maybe that is it.
I
But
stayed at it. I can't remember the name. I thought it was Blue Chip though.
yeah, that one we got to close out for Frankie Valley. That
Oh
night.
wow.
And that was pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, and that was right at the Hard Rock Cafe there. So we've had some. That might be the furthest one. We were supposed to have a gig in Florida this year coming up in October. We're trying to still see if the logistics of that will get worked out or not. But we've been invited down to go down and play there. That
You
might
where
not-
in Florida? Chris?
That'll be in Punta Gorda.
Oh my gosh, that's not far from me.
Is it?
Let me
Okay.
know. Yeah, if you're playing down there, I'll go down there.
You guys can crash at Rob's place.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hey, you can sleep on Gage's bed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be there for sure. I don't know if the band will put it that way. So it'll be me solo or the whole band.
Nice.
You got a couch for them, right, Rob?
I
Or you
do.
sleep on the couch. These guys need to sleep in beds, all right?
Oh, they got to
Yeah.
sleep in the beds. I sleep
Yeah.
in the couch.
Hey, Rob, it's in our contract. Just
Yeah, I mean, come on. Everybody knows this, Rob.
Yep.
Get on board with it.
Yeah, Beth Bernstein's gonna call you, Rob.
Oh, Beth Bernstein. Ouch. The first family of law in
Mhm.
Michigan.
Oof.
Oh boy.
So hey, I think that's it was a good show, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Chris, you got any questions for the idiots before we wrap it up?
He asked me if I was gonna, come with anything with it. Being a shooter back in the day, a scorer. I wondered if you guys had some top, like maybe 3 or 5 shooters of all time in the NBA. That's one I was gonna bring to you, and I know that's kind of putting you on the spot, but
Well, we're about to see one start here in the next couple days against the Celtics.
And that's my boy, Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He's my number one.
Well, if
We know who Fred's gonna say. We know who Fred's gonna say number one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The Birdman.
He's from French Lick, Indiana.
Gotcha.
And I would take him over Michael Jordan any day of the week.
No, he's my number two. So
What about Pistol Pete? Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete was a heck of a scorer. Maybe not the greatest shooter, but a big time scorer.
Yeah.
Big time scorer.
I would tell you, Del Curry was not too shabby back in the day.
Yeah, smooth shot, very smooth.
Yep. As far as sharpshooters are concerned, I mean, Steph Curry and Michael Jordan and Larry Bird are probably the three guys that I think of right off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And the thing is back in our day, Chris and everybody who's on today, every team in the NBA had a good big man, and any team could actually win the championship. It was just who was going to be the toughest.
Right.
I don't think there's a team in today's NBA that would have ever lasted in the 80s. They would be like the Cleveland Cavaliers of the 80s, which were absolute dog meat, the epitome of suck.
Good, but couldn't get over that threshold ever. Yeah.
Right. And you look, because you can look at any of those teams where, you knew who 76ers had, they had Andrew Toney, they had Dr. J, they had Moses Malone, they had Caldwell Jones, they had Bobby Jones, they had Doug Collins.
Right.
You got the Atlanta Hawks had, Doc Rivers, they had Dominique Wilkins, they had Tree Rollins, they had they had John Koncak. I mean,
you remember some names, Fred.
Spud Webb. What about Spud Webb?
Yeah, Spud Webb. Yeah, he kind of came in a little bit later, but you start looking at some of those teams and you get like, Dallas that had Detlef Schrempf and had Ronaldo Blackman.
Yep.
And Brad Davis and people like that. You never knew who was going to win back in the day, right. But it was always the three toughest teams were always the Pistons, the Celtics, and the Lakers.
Here's what the web says for some greatest NBA shooters. I just looked it up because I knew we were missing a bunch of names and we missed a lot. Ray Allen, Reggie Miller, Dirk Miller,
Nowitzki,
Steve Kerr, Steve Nash, Chris Mullin.
There's my number 3.
Yeah, I know he was your favorite back in the day, Chris.
Yes, he was.
Yep.
Pure shoot.
Coming to my house
Pierce.
after playing a game, watching
Paul Pierce,
watching St. John's play Georgetown.
Got it.
On old ESPN with Dale Volcker and everybody else. Yeah.
Yep.
He's got a great bar in Phoenix. If you ever go out to Phoenix, he's got a great bar there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, maybe you'll play it someday, Chris.
Well, my parents live just outside of Phoenix in the summer.
Do they really?
Winter time, so maybe I'll have to go check that out.
Yeah, it's Mullins right downtown.
Okay, cool.
That's a good question there, Chris, because that's a tough question because
of course it's
opinionated. I'll be honest with you. I don't think I've watched an NBA game in a million years. I watched for the first time in a long time. I watched just recently with Rob when I was down in Florida when my dad had heart surgery. And we watched the Celtics and the Heat play.
Yeah.
I just can't get into it anymore. It's too much ISO. And the talent has gone down considerably because a lot of those kids back in the day, they played until at least their junior year in college where they really could develop their skill.
That's funny you say that, Fred, though. That's why I'm a big Golden State Warrior fan because they move. It's not ISO. There's always continuous movement. That reminds me of the old style that we used to play.
They're one of the few teams that move around, and for them to take Jordan Poole, which I thought was the biggest mistake ever, that shows you where how much I know.
Yeah,
but I thought if he would have stayed another year, he would have been probably a top 10 draft pick. But what a steal that they got with him. But they got a nice squad. They're 7-8 deep. So, and I think that's one of the things you think about back in the day. Your team was 6, 7, 8 deep.
Sure.
You weren't afraid to put that eighth guy in. I mean,
I think they're saying right now it's 127, 167 games experience on Golden State in the championship game to 0 for the Celtics.
Wow.
Now, whether that translates to anything on the court, I think it's really going to be, can they stop Steph Curry, right?
Yeah.
Will they have someone that can at least slow him down a bit?
Yeah, I think they got too many weapons. They can shut Steph down all they want.
And they still could lose.
Yeah, they're going to just feed it to, everybody else to take over. And that's what Golden State does so well. I'm a big fan
But
of
the Celtics, Chris, were the best team statistically second half of the season.
They were, but I think, each of those series, they've gone 7 games. So they're just kind of getting by here. So I don't know.
Plus, Marcus Smart's injured. He's got kind of a bum ankle. And,
that's who has to stop Curry.
Yeah. And a lot of those guys, they took a beating. But the thing is one thing that Golden State does that not a lot of other teams do is they actually play defense.
Yeah.
They
and
do.
That, kind of very reminiscent to the Pistons of 2004. Probably a lot of boring basketball games because it was 84-75 or, I mean, they held people down and it just got boring. And then they just dismantled the superstar team of the Lakers during the championship. So, defense does win championships, that's for sure. But
Chris, does Steph win the MVP then?
Yes, I think he probably should have had one of them when Durant got, I think, his second one. But I think he will. I think he's still going to find a way to score, and maybe probably going to have a lot of assists, I'm guessing, in this. And I think you'll see him get that award this year.
Now for the all-important sports question.
Yes, sir.
What are the Lions going to do this year? Over, under? How many wins?
Chris almost broke his neck putting his head down.
I know. Believe me, and I'm a Lions fan, but my wife knows. She waits for it every Sunday. At some point, I'm going to say the Lions suck. She knows it every damn week. And is it okay? Is it the second quarter this week, or is it going to be the third quarter? And I guess I'll set it at. I got some hope for him. I'm going to set it at 6.5. So
I think that's pretty good. I mean, there's a lot of optimism going around the Lions this year, and they think that the Bears are definitely going to be the worst in the division. Yeah. So at least they might have a chance to be second or third. But 6.5, I'll take over. I'm going over.
You're going to go the over?
I'm going to go over, Chris.
You're going over 6.5?
I'm going over, Mike. I feel like this is a breakout year for the Lions. They're going to get like 7-8 wins.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I'm going to say that Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt, and the Detroit Lions will win the division.
Oh my God.
What?
Okay,
you heard it here first.
Hey, I'm just telling you right now. Hey, if he gets hurt, the Packers are done. So you already know that.
If
well, let me finish.
Let me finish.
Oh, I got to hear this.
Hey, first of all, Chris, who do you think's better, the Vikings or the Lions? And there's, as you see things panning out right now.
Well, I want to say Lions, but I still have to say Minnesota.
Okay. Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff. I would rather have Jared Goff 50 times over than him.
Really?
I know Kirk Cousins has got a good record against us. But the thing is they did not improve themselves in the draft. In fact, they helped. And then the Bears, they're just the Bears.
Fire.
Okay.
So you're going over 2 then, Fred? You're taking the over?
I'm gonna take the over. I say they're gonna
win 8 or 9 games.
Right. What do you think, Mike?
Well, reality check. I mean, you guys are we've been doing this since 1957. Oh yeah, this is the year of the Lions.
Well, not
this
us.
Is how many wins they're gonna have this year? 5.
Okay. All right. So wait a minute. Okay, wait.
So setting it at 6.5 wasn't bad then, huh?
No.
You're right. Mike's got 5. Chris, you got 6.5.
Yeah. So I guess I'll say 6.
What did I have? 7.5, and you're going to make me do 8, right? Because if I say 6, 7 or 8, you got.
No, you can say 7 would be the over, so you're good at 7.
And Fred says how many?
I'll say 8.
Okay.
Oh wow.
All right, so Fred and I are.
Because here's
I'm
the
not
thing, if
saying
they
those
win
are the
8
division-
games with the roster that they have right now, and there's still some free agents that they can pick up here coming up here pretty quick. Defensively, I think their pass rush has improved. I think with the pass rush improving, I think the people that they have in place on the corners, including Jeff Okuda, who they've been talking about moving to safety, and their linebacker crew, been hearing raving about Rodriguez, the kid out of Oklahoma State. So
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, I'm hoping I'm not a huge Lions fan because I didn't grow up watching them because my dad wouldn't let me, because I would just cry every time they lost. But
Still does, by the way.
yeah, okay. But
Hey, Fred,
I will.
He
great to hear
didn't
your
cry
dad-
this show. He didn't
Great
cry
to hear
this
your dad's doing
episode.
good too, by the way, Fred.
What's that?
Great to hear the surgery and everyone went well with your dad.
It did go well. Got some more news. He's got to have a aortic valve replacement.
That's what my dad had too.
Yep. So that's probably going to happen here, probably the beginning of July.
Okay.
So like I said, I appreciate that. I know that you know my dad.
Yes, I do. Oh yeah.
And a lot of, he was very humbled by all the well wishes and everything from people that messaged him on Facebook, and I thank all of you that did that.
Yes, sir. Cool.
All right. I think that's a wrap for this show. Again, thanks, Chris, for joining us. We really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you at some gigs this summer.
Yeah, and please come and say hi if you happen to be at a show. Come on up. You just give me a hey. Let me know you're here. I'd love to see you guys.
Probably see you on Friday.
Okay, cool. But no, thank you guys for having me. This is pretty cool. I'm gonna share it and see if we can't get 400 likes for you. How's that?
Yeah,
Wow.
we're trying to get it.
That would be awesome.
They
And
gotta
just hey, Chris, when you
subscribe.
make sure you say, hey, check out their YouTube channel. If you like it, subscribe.
You got it.
And they so they get notifications about the shows. Make sure you check out the show next week because we will have Paul Shunk on next week.
Awesome. Cool.
And that the week after that, right now it's pending, but Eddie Stevens from Los Gringos. And then we're going to venture out a little bit, see if Jamie McDowell from Alter Ego can come on.
Nice.
And I'm trying to get John Jansen to respond, but he's like trying to find Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah.
So he's one of those ones you got to corner at the bar and say, look, do I have to buy you a beer to be on the show?
You might have to do it at the bar. That's the only thing,
Well, okay.
We talked about doing that.
Talk about
so-
doing that too.
We're not opposed to doing
Chris,
that.
I'll tell you right now, the first time that we can do a live show where people can actually watch at the same time,
Yeah.
I'll make sure that you're on there because I know you mentioned that to me today, and we'll eventually probably venture out and try that one time, see how it works out. But we'll have you bring your guitar and we'll have you play a couple songs and
Yes, sir.
and we'll talk about some of the influences you have as far as outside of the family.
We might have to do a live stream from where the Meldrum Brothers are playing. That would be pretty cool. Do the
That would be
live stream
badass.
and then, when they open up, we have that part of the live stream. That'd be cool.
That could be real cool.
Totally down for that. Chris, we as long as you're not there's no patent stuff or anything like that or copyright infringements, we'll be okay.
Not yet. I got to check with my people, but I think we're good.
We don't want to bring your viewership down either. So if you can politely decline.
You got it.
I can't believe you agreed to this. It can only hurt you, Chris. I don't know why.
Well, hey,
But
Chris,
you got it on video now too. So
Well, Chris, I know your band's very unique, but you know what? You also have someone who plays bass, and the bass guitar is actually bigger than he is. He is the coolest dude ever, though.
Oh,
He's a great guy.
He's a
He's
badass
awesome.
dude, man.
One of my best friends for a lot of years now.
Oh yeah.
He's our sound man. He's our bass player. He's also just a great guy, and everybody knows that. He's a heck of a musician that just really fills in our band. But yeah, he gets that a little bit in the band. He knows we joke about it.
He's the musical director, isn't he? For the bass players are always the musical directors. It seems like they're the ones that own all the equipment usually.
Yeah.
That's TJ. He's got 90, probably 95 or 100% of it, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right. Thanks again, Chris.
Okay, guys, you all have a good night. Thank you.
Thanks.
You
Thanks,
too.
Chris. Nice
Take care.
meeting you.
Yes, sir. You too.